All right, we're going to have a great video today. We're going to go over a lot of important topics. This is going to be part of a series where we go through some hot issues of the day. Subscribe and like. I'm trying to do these every day, depending on how often I get new information, but I also like to do deck build highlights and things like that too. We're going to talk about the worst thing in the game other than the economy, which is probably a whole video that we're going to come up with later. We're going to talk about a player hitting rank 300 in Infinite and the deck that they used. We're going to talk about a new tool that will help you track discarded cards, destroyed cards, and what is left in your deck so you don't have to do mental gymnastics in case you forget. It should give you better scores for sure. And we're going to talk about buying cards in Pool 3 and whether it's worth it just to finish Pool 3 quickly so that you can get the boosted drop rates for collector tokens. That's an interesting topic. And then lastly, we're going to also talk about, should you snap turn 1, or is snapping on turn 1 a bad idea? Might surprise you. First things first, we're going to talk about this. Probably the worst thing in Marvel Snap right now, other than the economy, which is very controversial. I have to make a separate video about that for sure. Actually, I think there's some pros and cons, but a lot of people do not like the economy and the collector token system. But we're going to talk about this. The ability to deny information by roping and last-second snapping creates an incredibly toxic dynamic. This tactic is becoming more and more common, and it makes the gameplay significantly less enjoyable. Should either be allowed to undo your action with additional time after a snap to act on the new information, or when the snap is done after a certain point, the timer should be penalized further and only take effect if they were snapped at a full turn later. Yeah, there's this thing where if you snap at the last second, it gives your opponent a very little amount of time to make a decision what they want to do. And it's happened to me many a times where I get snapped on the last second. Well, first of all, I had to wait for them to do that, which is not great either. It makes the matches longer. And then I'm like trying to do the math, and then it went to the next round, and I didn't want to go to the next round. I wanted to retreat. A lot of people had some excellent suggestions on this. I like this comment right here. This is a huge problem at high ranks, and I've advocated for a solution for a while. I suggested we create an option to undo your turn where your opponent snapped with enough time to rethink your plays. Just allow people to do their turn over if they cancel within a few seconds. Yeah, absolutely. Also, I got to give a shout out to Educated Collins, who hit Infinite 300. And I want to show the deck that he used because that may be of interest to you. It looks like it is Darkhawk Zabu. What a surprise. Yeah, Darkhawk Zabu, I played a bunch, and it was one of the main decks that got me to Infinite. I did play this deck. I didn't have the luck that he did. He must be a better player than me, but I just wanted to give him a shout out because that is impressive. Now, there was some controversy, or there's some questions, and I just wanted to go over this because a lot of people asked, well, how did they do it? And he said, hit rank 300 in Marvel Snap today, mostly more of the same Zabu Deathhawk, but I'm getting some humans again, which is nice. Maybe some change on their end, or MMs are higher after some time. Also, changing decks just seems to change my opponent. Is there data for that? And there's a big controversy. I know for me, it feels that way. Like if I change decks, it definitely feels like I get more mirror matches for sure. I don't know if you've noticed that. Also, when he hit 200, he made a post, which was just a couple days ago on the 14th, reached 200 on stream today. There's an issue with MMR after rank 140 where there's not enough opponents near my MMR, so I face more bots than usual. Still impressive to get the year as a global release player. Use Darkhawk Zabu, so you need a Series 5 card, unfortunately. Now, the developers have been asked a little bit about this, and I just want to read what they said. Does the matchmaking use machine learning? And Ben Brode said, no, the matchmaker cannot see your deck, nor does it use machine learning. Interesting. So that is the official stance. I know that most players say that they change decks and then they see counters or mirror matches, but they're saying that they don't, and that they don't look at your deck before queuing. We will have to see. Also, this is kind of a big deal. Untapped GG just released an app for Marvel Snap, and I have been using it, and I have been loving it. What it is, it works with the Steam client, and you can see above me, it shows the deck. And then when cards go into my hand, it grays them out. And you can see what cards are left in your deck. Also, when cards are discarded, you can see which cards were discarded. When cards are destroyed, you can see what cards are destroyed. This has been insanely helpful because oftentimes I'm trying to figure out what cards are left in my deck and what's going to be a good draw. How am I going to get there? Or how many cards are discarded I'm going to use? What's going to come back with my Ghost Rider? It just makes a lot of the uncertainty of the information a little bit easier without having to track it for yourself mentally. So I think that's a good tool. I mean, I'm loving it, and everybody that I've talked to loves it as well. Also, what's an estimated average collection level to gather all Pool 3 cards? And a lot of people have been asking this question because the way the system works right now, when you're over level 1000, every collector reserve that you go through, every fourth one rather, you get a chance at a card. You get, it's going to be a Pool 3, and then there's a small chance of a Pool 4 and a small chance of a Pool 5. So it's a 1 in 4 chance to get a Pool 3 card. Now, when you're Pool 3 complete, it no longer will give you a card. Instead, it'll give you anywhere from 200 to 600 collector tokens on average of 400. And the reason why this is important is that it's abysmal when you're in Pool 3, like somewhere between, when you're not quite up to 3,000. Pool 3 ends for most people, depending if you buy tokens from the Token Shack, anywhere from 2,600 to 3,300. And when you're in that Pool 3 phase, you're only getting about 1,000 collector tokens a month. But when you finish Pool 3, now you're getting that boosted rate where you get the 400 on average, anywhere from 200 to 600, and your rate goes up to 5,000. So the question has been asked, should I just buy random cards from the token shop so I can finish Pool 3? And the answer is no. However, if you want to buy a Pool 3 card because it's good and it'll let you play a new deck or a new archetype, or it's just a very good card that you really want to play, like Wong or Sarah or something like that, that's fine. I think it's a great idea to use your collector tokens from that. But there was an article on snap.fan where they were talking about this issue specifically, and I want to read it to you because I thought this was an excellent point that they made right here. So an S3 box, if you are Series 3 complete, averages 400 tokens. And then if you get a Series 4 box, if you're Series 4 complete, 400 tokens. Not a good value there. Does that mean it's better to spend tokens to be Series 3 complete so you can get those sweet, on average, 400 token boxes? No. Spending 1,000 tokens specifically to then be able to later gain an average of 400 tokens is just throwing 600 tokens in the trash. If you want the card to play with it, power to you. Buy that card. But if you just want to spend up get 400 tokens, you're robbing yourself of less tokens. And I thought that was an excellent point made on snap.fan. Very good. Also, on Twitter, they announced that they're going to have another reward right here. If you hit Infinite, it's going to be a gold border back. I'm excited. I hit Infinite a week or so ago, and so I'm excited to have a shiny new toy other than a title. But anyways, other thing worth noting is that there is a limit to credits, and your credits will be full when you get to 10,000. So if you're saving them for whatever reason, there is a cap to saving them. And then a lot of people are talking about this. Who else out there is hoarding gold for tokens? And the idea behind this is that there were two very good offers that had collector tokens that were purchased with gold. And it seemed like a no-brainer. And a lot of people like myself were recommending people do that. And we were recommending maybe you should start saving your your gold so you can buy these offers. But the truth is, we do not know when they're coming back at all. As soon as we find out about more offers in the upcoming future, I'll make videos about it. Now, as far as an offer that is going to be appearing tomorrow, which is on the 22nd, it's the Festival Fireworks. And I will be buying this bundle for myself. It is $5 US. It'll have 500 credits, 500 gold, which makes it worth it just for that. In addition, there will be 63 Jubilee boosters, and there will be a variant for Jubilee, and then there will also be an avatar. So I'm going to be buying this offer. I think it's fantastic. This is an interesting post, and I just want to read this before we get into the topic about should you snap on turn 1 or is snapping on turn 1 bad. There should be a 30 tier on the weekly challenge bar, and it should be giving a random variant, and I think this is an excellent suggestion. Anyone else running out of things to do 2 or 3 days before the weekly reset? I know I get through it very quickly. Other than missions every 8 hours, would be nice if there were an additional tier 30 of the weekly challenge bar that gives a random variant. I know I only pull pixel variants. I hate pixel variants. They're trash. But having an additional thing in Marvel Snap to look forward to progress towards the week would be nice. And then there are 42 missions given each week. Having a 30 mission tier would still allow players to miss 2 days worth of missions. Also, having the 30T would be a cosmetic reward instead of more currency. Means most players aren't being penalized for not being able to invest more time to get the game past the current 25 mission structure. So, got to give a shout out to my buddy MSTZ Bootman, who made a video that I personally thought was very interesting. I first turn snapped 50 times, and this idea out there is like, why do people snap on turn 1 without seeing the locations or anything like that? Now, typically my strategy for snapping is like whenever I see the path to having a good hand or my combo is when I snap, and I typically want to see the third location. And, like if you're playing a Galactus deck and you're just like, okay, I can get my combo off. I've seen the locations. Now's a good time to snap. Or like if I'm playing a Zabu deck, it's like, okay, I've got Zabu. I'm going to play Zabu on turn 3. My deck's going to combo, and my chances are winning are much higher than that. So there's this interesting idea. Maybe certain decks and certain players should be snapping on turn 1. And I think this is an interesting concept, and he tested it, and his mind was changed. But if you look at some of the data, and this is on snap.fan, and what we're looking at here is the statistics of winning when you draw your card that wins. And for example, right here, it is Patriot. When drawn, the deck has a 60% chance of winning. And the idea here is maybe if you're playing a Patriot deck, you can snap on turn 1. I got to try this. That is a thing. And then there you can see the other cards there. Silver Surfer, Ultron, Multiple Man, and Moved and Brood. If these cards are in your hand, your odds of winning the match are much higher when they're drawn right there. And maybe that is when to snap on turn 1. It's kind of like having pocket aces in Texas Hold'em. Yeah, you can still be beaten by a bunch of different things, but maybe your odds are just a little bit better, and having that 60% to 40% is into your advantage, and it is a good thing to do. Be sure to check out Bootman's video about the topic. All right, so now it is time for the giveaway. And what we're doing, we used to do this all the time on my other channels and when I played Galaxy of Heroes and Marvel Strike Force, but we're going to do a giveaway. We're going to give away variants in this game. So I really hope you liked today's video. That's right. For every single person that liked today's video, you will be getting for free in your account a super rare variant of Squirrel Buster.
This is not a scam.
Yeah, this was this is basically when you put Hulkbuster on top of a squirrel token. What I see when Hulkbuster chooses a squirrel in Marvel Snap. Squirrel Buster. All right, guys. Let me know if you like this format. Be sure to like and subscribe. And as always, thanks for watching. Keep on gaming. Bye for now.